Hello everyone, welcome back to the data structures lecture series. Today we are going to discuss queues implementation using arrays. See, this is a simple array representation. Okay, so in this array queue, okay, the size of the array is 5, array name is queue, and in this array I have inserted 5 elements. Okay, so the first element I have inserted is 50, and the next element I have inserted is 40, and so on up to 10 in this order. Okay, and front is pointing to the front element. Okay, and rear is pointing to the last element, right? This is how a queue can be implemented using array. Okay, those who are not having a idea about the basic definition of queue, please listen to this. Queue is a linear data structure, and we perform two operations on queue. One is insertion and another one is deletion. Insertion can be done from rear, deletion can be done from front. Okay, so the element which is inserted first will be deleted first, so that we follow the principle, FIFO principle, that is first in first out principle, to implement the queue. Okay, so here we are doing two basic operations, as I said. One is NQ, that is insertion of elements, and another one is DQ, that is deletion of elements from the queue. Okay, now let us get into the technical issues in the implementation of queue using array. So here I have taken a function NQ. Okay, here the code is placed side by side. So void NQ is the function, and here you can see the right down corner end of the NQ function. Okay, so in those two curling braces, between those two curling braces, I have placed the code for NQ operation, that is insertion operation, right? I will explain this if block later when time comes. First of all, let us see the else block, and in this else block only we will write the logic for inserting a new element into the queue. Okay, so firstly what will we do? Firstly we will increment the rear, because insertion can be happened from rear end only. Okay, so initial values of rear and front are actually -1, -1. After incrementing rear, what will be the rear value? 0. Okay, so when rear is 0, okay, rear points to the queue of 0, that is the first position of this array, right? Then what will I do? I will insert an element into the queue. Okay, so to do this, I have to read an element first from the keyboard and place it into the array, right? So for that I will use this code. Using scanf statement, I will read an element into a variable ELE and assign that value to queue of rear. Queue of, what is rear here? 0. So queue of 0. Queue of 0, we are assigning ELE to queue of 0, right? Now let us proceed with further things. See here, what is the value of front here? -1. What does it mean? Previously there is no element in the queue before this operation. Okay, means queue is empty. When queue is empty, front value will be -1. But when we insert the first element into the queue, okay, then both front and rear will point to the same location, right? Same value. That is why we will verify whether the queue is previously empty or not. Okay, so if queue is empty, then we will make the front to point the first element. Okay, so for that I will verify whether front is equal to -1 or not. If so, I will assign 0 to the front. Now front and rear having 0. Now I want to insert another element, that second element. Okay, so what will I do? Now see this, front and rear are pointing to the first position of the array. Now what I am doing is I am incrementing the rear so that rear value will become 1. When rear is 1, Okay, I will read an element. When I will read an element into a variable ELE, and I will place that value in the queue. Okay, so using scanf statement I read the value, and q of rare is equal to ELE, q of 1 is equal to element. If I assume element value is 20, 20 is placed in this position. Now I will repeat the same for third element. If you are not if you don't have a proper understanding previously, please listen to this carefully again. I am doing same process inserting third element. Okay, now rare is pointing to the second element of this array. Okay, and front will stay same because we are not doing deletion, we are doing NQ operation, that is insertion, so only rare will be incremented. So rare is incremented, previously 1, after incrementation rare will become 2. Okay, so rare will point to the q of 2. Now what I supposed to do is I have to input a value and place that value into q of 2. So using scanf statement I will read a value 30, let us say, and I will put that into the q of rare is equal to ELE. What is rare? 2. q of 2 is equal to 30. Okay, so that 30 will be placed in this position. This is same for the next two elements also. So please observe the graphics, what happening to insert elements into this queue. Okay. Right, so what happening, a value 40 placed in the new position. Okay, after incrementing the rare. So I am inserting one more element, incrementing rare to 4. Okay, and placing 50 in that position. This can be possible with this code, scanf %d %ELE will read a new element, and q of rare is equal to ELE will place that value into q. Now what did you observe here? All the 5 positions of the queue were filled, means queue is now full, because I assume the size of the queue as 5. So the size of the queue, the total number of elements were already fit into the queue. So if I attempt to do NQ operation one more time, what will happen? There is no space, so see this if block now. Okay, so this if block will be executed now, and here rare value, you can understand this rare value here. Rare value is 4 and I said size is 5, so size minus 1 is 4 again. So 4 is equal to 4, rare is equal to size minus 1. This condition is satisfied. Okay, so when this condition is satisfied, we used to display that q is full. And this particular condition is called as Q overflow condition. What? Q overflow condition, right? What is Q overflow? When Q is full, if we attempt to insert a new element, that situation is called Q overflow. Right, now see the DQ operation. Assume that I have 3 elements in the queue. Okay, so this is a new assumption again, don't continue with the previous queue. Okay, so assume that I have 3 elements in the queue, and front is pointing to the first element, rear is pointing to the third element. That is why front value is 0 here, rear value is 2 here. You can see in the left bottom. Okay, now again we will talk about this if block later. The code for deletion is there in else block, so focus on else block now. See what I am doing is, as I said, I want to delete an element. So before deleting an element, I have to pick and display what element I am supposed to delete. So element is equal to q of front. So here front, from front side we used to delete. So what is the element pointing by front? That is q of 0, because front is 0. So q of 0 is the element to delete. So 10 will be displayed. After displaying 10, what will we do? We will increment the front. Okay, so if we increment the front will point to the q of 1 now. Okay, so logically the elements in the queue are from front to rear only. So here q of 0 is logically not an element of the queue. Okay, so you can understand it as deleted. Again, if I want to delete one more element, I will display 20 here. Front is pointing 20, that is q of 1 will be displayed. Again, okay, after displaying q of 1, what will I do? I will increment the front so that front will become 2, right? Then front will move to point q of 2. And this value q of 1, that is 20, will be logically deleted. Now both front and rear are pointing to the same location here. Okay, however, forget about rear for a moment. I will repeat the deletion one more time. I mean a DQ one more time. Then what will happen? We will display the element 30. Then we will increment the front so that front will become 33 now. So that front will point to q of 3. Okay. Now 30 is logically deleted. Please observe this. What is the front value? 3. And what is the rear value? 2. Now come back to this if condition. Here if front is greater than rear. Okay. Here you will be having two conditions. One is front is equal to -1. That is initially when there are no elements in the queue. Okay. Front value will be -1. Otherwise, after some process, after some DQ operations, we may empty the queue. Okay, so at that time front value will be greater than the rear. So if front is greater than rear, queue is empty, so you have to display queue is empty. And remember that if you want to do some NQ operation furtherly, okay, you have to have front and rear values as -1 because there is no there is no element in the queue now. That is queue is empty now. So initial values has to be settled. That is why I assign front is equal to -1 and rear is equal to -1. Okay, and this particular condition is called as underflow. What does it mean? When we attempt to delete element from the queue when queue is empty, then that condition is called queue underflow. Okay, when queue underflow situation is happened, you have to reset the front and rear to -1. This is the DQ operation. Okay, let us continue with displaying elements of a queue. Okay, assume that we have 5 elements in the queue and the front is being pointed by variable front and rear is being pointed by variable rear and its values are 0 and 4 now. Okay, now I want to display them, right? Come back to the else block here, forget about the if block for a while and see the else block here. So here I have taken a for loop. In that I have taken a variable I. So I have started displaying values from front to rear because the values will be fetched in queue from front only. Okay, so I is equal to front, I less than or equals to rear, I plus plus. So that I will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that after 4 the value I value will be 5 and the condition will be false. So you will be you display 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 linearly using this for loop. Okay, so this is how we display the elements of the queue. Okay, it is more similar to displaying elements of an array, right? We used to display from 0 to rear. Okay, however, if queue is full, okay, but you know, after deleting some elements from front may reach to the third element, that is q of 2. Okay, then front value will be 2. Then if you want to display the elements of the queue, you have to display from q of 2 to q of 4. That is why we took in for loop I is equal to front, I less than or equals to rear, I plus plus and displaying q of I all the time. Okay, so this is how we display elements of the NQ, right? If you like this video, please thumbs up, and if you have any queries, please put a comment here. Otherwise you can mark me a mail, personal mail, I will reply. And if you want immediate notification after uploading the video, please subscribe to this channel and enable the notification by clicking bell button. Thank you.